What I'm about to tell you about digital ID is your red pill, blue pill moment. Sure, you could watch this later, but you won't, let's be honest. You could swipe past in 2 minutes, get 25% of the picture and move on to the next dopamine hit. That's fine. Comfort's easy. Maybe you just prefer a blue pill. So get yourself a cup of tea, sit yourself down, make yourself comfortable, because what I'm about to tell you is going to open your eyes completely to what digital ID actually is. This is where you decide whether to look away or really see how deep this goes. Now, what I'm going to tell you, you might not like, but you probably need to hear it. Some of you have already taken the red pill. You've started to connect the dots. Government overreach, censorship, migration policy, grooming scandals, banking control. Unfortunately, you're still learning to box.
I know Kung Fu.
Show me.
While I've been studying every martial arts discipline of this system for years. The next 10 minutes or so will either be your first red pill moment or your next training session. Either way, what's coming will change the way you see every login, every card, every agree to terms button you've ever pressed. So what's the choice? Well, you can close this video now, stay comfortable in the blue pill world, or keep watching and finally see the code behind it all. Because digital ID isn't coming, it's already here. And by the time most people realize what it really is, they will already be completely inside it. And before we actually move into the video, let me ask you this question. And you can ask this after you've watched this to your friends who are all against it. What is digital ID? You see, most people think it's some kind of card. Others think it's an app on your phone. You couldn't be more wrong if you tried.
Remember, all I'm offering is the truth, nothing more.
First up, the real sleepwalk. You see, most people are instinctively against digital ID. Every poll, every pub chat, every comment thread proves that. But here's the twist. We've already agreed to it. When you uploaded a passport scan to open a bank account, that was identity data. When you let a social media platform scan your face to keep the community safe, that was biometric verification. And when you used fingerprint unlocks, contactless payment, or NHS login, you handed over another piece of yourself to the same expanding network. It just wasn't marketed as digital ID. It was sold as safety, fraud prevention, age verification, security. Bit by bit, those systems became normal until the world's digital ID suddenly landed like a grenade, and everybody acted shocked. But the infrastructure's been here for years. The story you're about to hear isn't about what might happen, it's about what's already happened, stitched together through half a dozen acts of parliament and a maze of consultations no one ever read. You see, when Keir Starmer stood up on that podium and mentioned digital ID, many millions of people in the country threw their arms up in the air. Content creators going crazy. Digital ID, we have to reject it. Sign the petition. You signed into it 10 years ago. You sign into it every single day. Digital ID isn't a card or an app. It's the complete infrastructure of society today.
No. I don't believe it.
Even many of those shouting loudest about digital ID don't understand what it actually is, because it's not a single card. It's a mesh of data laws, verification mandates, telecom regulations, and smart data schemes.
I didn't say it would be easy, Neo. I just said it would be the truth.
Stop.
This video is for them and for everyone who thinks a petition can undo a decade of quiet construction. So first up, we need to talk about the legal backbone. Let's pull the curtain back. These are the pillars of the new identity regime. Investigatory Powers Act 2016, the Snoopers Charter. It actually gave agencies the power to intercept communications and store metadata. That's the surveillance engine. Digital ID simply bolts authentication onto it. Then we have the Telecommunications Security Act 2021. It forces telecom providers to harden and report their networks, effectively embedding government access standards into the pipes of the internet itself. We then have the Digital Economy Act 2017, legalized cross-department data sharing for the delivery of public services. That's the plumbing for data linkage. Then the more recent one, the Online Safety Act 2023, framed as child protection. It mandates age and identity verification, content preservation, and disclosure to Ofcom, the social media layer of identity control that Labour recently updated so they can snoop on your social media accounts. Then we have the Data Protection and Digital Information Bill. That's an overhaul of data law, expanding lawful grounds for processing and biometric use. Some parts stalled, others were absorbed elsewhere. Then the one I've been talking about for a year, the Data Use and Access Act 2025. This is the core framework. Got royal assent on June 2025. This act formalised digital verification services, the trust framework model that accredits identity providers. It expands legitimate interest processing, meaning organisations can use your data without fresh consent. And it establishes smart data schemes, forcing sectors like energy, telecoms, and health to share customer data via open APIs. It creates a new regulator, the Office for Digital Identities and Attributes, otherwise known as the ODIA. Government insists it's voluntary, but once banks, employers, and councils require DVS credentials, optional becomes irrelevant. Then we have the Digital Markets Competition and Consumers Act 2024. That regulates digital platforms and data flow, dovetailing neatly with the identity framework. Next up, we have sectoral add-ons. That's right, finance and AML regulations now reference digital ID solutions. Education, health and social care rules tie funding and safeguarding to verified records. Together, they form the digital state matrix. So now you understand the framework behind it, let's have a look at how this threads through your life. And let's start with education and social care. Every pupil carries a unique pupil number, a UPN. Soon that merges with a verified credential, safeguarding records, send data, attendance logs, all one ID. Then we have banking and finance. Treasury Guidance 2026 makes digital ID the default for KYC check. Then we have welfare and public services. Universal Credit uses facial recognition. Councils shift to single login systems. Next up, immigration and employment. Proving right to work and residency lives inside the gov.uk wallet. Fail to show it, risk losing access to work or housing. Then we have infrastructure and telecoms. SIM registration and device binding tie your phone itself to identity. You see, when your device is your ID, anonymity ends. So you're probably starting to see where I'm going with this. And the question you're probably asking is, how did we miss it? Well, first off, we have a thing called petition mirage. 3 million signatures mean little once the law's multi-departmental. Micro-compliance, every fingerprint login, contactless tap and face scan was consent by convenience. And the consultations between October 2024 and July 2025, Ofcom and the ICO consultations drew minimal public input. Silence interpreted as consent. Jargon, trusted frameworks, legitimate interest, smart data, soothing words hiding seismic change. And you missed all of it. Now, if you've managed to comprehend anything I've just said there, you're probably asking what's next between 2025 and 2027. Well, firstly, we will have the BRIC, a mandatory credential for all workers by the end of the Parliament. Then the gov.uk wallet, digital version of every paper ID by 2027, and then smart data expansion, open data sharing into energy and healthcare. And then comes the Ofcom codes, enforcement on data preservation and response times. Lace into that, Treasury guidance, digital ID equals AML compliance, then EU interoperability alignment with the EU digital wallet by 2030. Each of those steps sold as innovation, each one tightening the loop. So what exactly is at stake? Well, first up, privacy. Every move will be traceable. Freedom, access conditional on credentials. Security, a single breach, total exposure. Equality, offline citizens get completely left behind. Democracy, data-driven governance without consent. Convenience is the sugarcoating, control is the pill beneath. Next up, let's talk about the guardrails, if we still care about them. You see, we can't dismantle it, but we can demand full transparency on data flow and retention, equal non-digital alternatives, independent oversight, not by MPs and internal parliamentary committees, but independent ones, strict purpose limitations and automatic data expiry, user revocation rights, and if these aren't enforced, verification becomes permission. I know, it's pretty scary, right? The red pill moment for you. You see, most people think the battle is still ahead. Well, it isn't. The digital ID framework is already the operating system of modern governance, linking your name, behavior, and entitlements into one programmable identity.
I don't believe it. Breathe. Just breathe.
And this is the Matrix moment, a digital world that looks real, feels convenient until you realize you're inside it, not steering it. You see, I took the red pill quite a few years ago. Back when I worked in education researching AI systems and data policy, I saw exactly where it was heading. Digital ID wasn't the end goal, it was the foundation. Once you see that, you can't unsee it. I watched others begin to wake up, but on different servers, if you know what I mean. Some took the red pill over immigration, some over grooming scandals. Some over government spin, lockdowns, censorship, energy policy, all valid issues. Yet very few looked at the code running beneath them, because every single one plugs into the same network. In the early 90s was when we all first logged in. Some of us have trained in this for decades, learning how deep the rabbit hole goes. Some are halfway through the program, aware, but completely unready, and millions, well, they took the blue pill a long time ago. They wake up, scan a phone, tap to pay, unlock with a face, sign away consent, blissfully compliant inside the simulation. That is the real issue. Not that the system exists, but that people stopped questioning it. They chose comfort over awareness, ease over effort, blue over red. You can't uninstall what's already been built, but you can see it. And once you've seen it, you won't be able to go back. So if you're still here, welcome to the other side. This isn't paranoia, it's observation. It's not fear, it's understanding. It's definitely not conspiracy, because it's all written in black and white in acts, bills, and legislation. It's the architecture. Digital ID isn't coming, it's already here. The only question left is, which pill are you prepared to take? Now, I did say at the start I would probably fry your noodle a little bit with this one. The reality is this. Digital ID is not a card. It's not an app. It's the fundamental foundation and infrastructure that's been quietly put into place in government, in society, in tech, in industry, in education for the past 10 to 15 years. You see, in the Matrix, Neo realizes he's in the Matrix and gets out of it. We're already out of it. We just decided to plug into it. That's the difference, and that's the Matrix reference. So are we actually at the point of the Matrix, or are we at the point of revolutions? That's the question I'm asking you today. And ultimately, some of you are going to sit there and say, what exactly can we do about it? I did explain some of it in the video if you were paying attention. We have to fight back through transparency, through independent oversight. We need to make sure that this system works for us, not against us. My belief is I do not trust it for 1 second in the hands of the current government. We need people in place that are not going to use this against people, censor us, remove our free speech, control our lives, control our money. That's the real problem. Digital ID isn't the issue. It's the fundamental foundation and infrastructure, the state control, the policy and the legislation that's been put in place to prop it up. Digital ID is the cherry on top of a very, very big ice cream. So to wrap up, this is not digital ID. This is not digital ID. This is digital ID. You might want to pause this part and have a little read. I'll put it in the description though as well.